All right, guys, let's head to the phone lines for our first interview of the day. Second interview this week concerning this topic. It is President's Cup week here on The Drive on ESPN Radio 93.9. We've been able to line up some great interviews courtesy of the Golf Channel and NBC Sports to get you ready for the President's Cup. Coverage begins tonight. Joining me on the line today, he is Rich Lerner, anchor, reporter, play-by-play host, essayist with the PGA Tour and with Golf Central at the Golf Channel. Rich, we really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are getting things ready for coverage that begins tonight, but let's just start off very broad, exciting week in golf. Tiger Woods played well the other day, a lot of excitement on the American side, but we got the President's Cup starting tonight in primetime coverage. It's great stuff, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, we're talking golf deep into November when football dominates, so in the golf world that's a good thing. This is, by golf standards, a relatively new event that began back in 1994. The U.S. has dominated it. The internationals have only won once, but they won it on this very golf course, Royal Melbourne in Australia, where golf fans are concerned. You watch for a number of reasons. This is one of the world's greatest golf courses. It's in what they call the sand belt of Australia. It was designed by the same gentleman who did Augusta National, Alistair Mackenzie. So you're going to be in for a real treat there. Team competition tends to be intense. Anytime you wave the flag, in the case of the internationals, it's many flags, but everybody wants to beat the USA. That's always a different twist. You have different formats. They'll play what they call foursomes. So on the first day, that's where I'll try to keep this kind of golf 101.
Sure.
You alternate shots. I tee off, you hit the next shot. It can be very tricky. You could be playing very well. I'm playing very poorly. We have to somehow make it work. Then there's a best ball format. You and I are teammates, but we each play our own ball. And whichever is the lowest score in the hole, we take that. And then on Sunday, it's singles. And so those are some of the basics here. And then it's a chance to see Tiger. And Tiger has not won anywhere in the world in 2 years. This is obviously not an individual event, but Tiger seems to be coming out of the darkness. He played very well last week at the Australian Open. He finished third. He had three very good rounds. So I think there's a lot here to chew on and a lot to watch.
Rich, let's talk about the international squad. We've certainly been taking a look and breaking down the American side of things, and a lot of intriguing stories there. But with Greg Norman and this squad, just your thoughts on the squad. Where are the strengths that the team could play a huge factor? Where does the international squad win this by using what players?
The number one strength for the internationals is that they're playing in Australia, and there are 5 Australians on the team. This is a golf course where, to use another phrase in our sport, local knowledge is very important. This is a course that has a lot of nuance, especially on the greens. Those that have played it frequently have a distinct advantage. I'm thinking about Jeff Ogilvy, Robert Allenby. And the other Australians on the team are Jason Day, who's a terrific young player, Aaron Baddeley, and then Adam Scott, who's had a sensational year. So internationals, I think, you give them the edge because they've won on this golf course and because they have 5 Australians who are familiar with the course. That said, some of their stalwart players, the name brands, are a little bit older, and frankly have not played great golf in the last year or so. Ernie Els, Jeff Ogilvy, Retief Goosen. They'll, I think, be looking to the younger set. Jason Day, Charles Schwartzel, Ishikawa, Adam Scott, Kyung Tae Kim, to play well and get the job done. I would say the internationals, simply because they're on home turf here with the 5 Australians, probably maybe get a slight edge, but not much of one.
Sure, absolutely. We're talking with Rich Lerner, anchor, reporter, play-by-play host with Golf Central and the PGA Tour through our Golf Channel interviews this week. Of course, the President's Cup coverage begins on the Golf Channel tonight, as well as on NBC Sports. It's your home for all of the President's Cup coverage. Back to the American squad, Rich. You mentioned Tiger Woods playing 3 great rounds the other day, one of his best outings this season in months that we've seen him play. Is this a catapult to get him back maybe to where he used to be, or was it a fluke? What do you think?
I would probably lean toward catapult. I don't think you can use the word fluke when you're talking about a guy who's won 71 tournaments and 14 major championships. I think you lean toward a catapult, though you never know. But the signs are fairly positive now. I think with each passing month, we get a little bit further away from his own personal tipping point of a couple of years ago, the scandal, and the world's not watching him as critically in such a judgmental fashion as I think they were in the first year after the scandal hit. And so I think Tiger can begin to feel a little bit better about himself and his world and the way people are looking at him. And then he would tell you that he's physically healthy for the first time. And that's always a factor. And I would say Tiger is at the beginning of a comeback here.
We'll get back to the President's Cup in just a moment. Want to get a prediction out of you in a few minutes as we get ready for the coverage tonight. But to change things up for one question, you were honored with the Women's Sports Foundation Journalism Award for your documentary, Sari Pak, A Champion's Journey. Concerning the LPGA, they've gone through a bit of a struggle the last couple years. Certainly they've had a changing in leadership on the LPGA. They've been trying to get back to some tournaments, build things back up. Do you see them being back on the rise again with some of the players they've got? What kinds of things do they need to do to become really prominent and relevant in the U.S. again?
It's a good question. I would say that the last component of your question is really where the focus is. What can they do to become relevant in the U.S.? I think it is important to give the LPGA its due internationally. The tournament they just conducted in Taiwan was an overwhelming success. 23,000 a day. Tickets were capped. The 400 media members. The LPGA is more popular in Asia than men's golf. Mm-hmm. That's a fact. But it struggled, particularly in a difficult economy in the U.S. And I think the simple answer is the LPGA needs a bona fide, marketable American star who's going to win and win big. And Lexi Thompson may or may not be that player. You certainly like her chances, but I think we learned with Michelle Wee and some others who were very good as teenagers that what someone is at the age of 16, 17 years old, particularly with young women, is not always what they are when they're 21, 22. The physical changes, emotional changes, psychological changes, you just never know. But Thompson appears to be, with one win already under her belt, she appears to be a very confident young player, aggressive, hits it long, believes in herself. So LPGA needs Lexi Thompson, but they needed Michelle Wee. Wee has not fully delivered on all the promise, but I wouldn't completely write her off. And the competition from, in particular, the Asian players is just very fierce. So they need a great young American player, and that would go a long ways towards putting the LPGA in a better position domestically.
We're talking with Golf Central anchor and reporter Rich Lerner, play-by-play host and essayist with the PGA Tour on President's Cup week. You can view the President's Cup on the Golf Channel and NBC Sports. Rich, we're talking about youth movement, youth players making an impact on the LPGA. How about the PGA Tour? We had a bit of a youth movement over the last year or two. Which player, in your mind right now, in his 20s, is the best player in the world?
I think McIlroy's probably the best young player in the world right now. I don't know how you want to delineate it, under 25, over 25. I mean, Bradley is 25, about to turn 26. I think Webb Simpson is 26. There are a lot of strong young players now the world over, players who have no scars from the Tiger Woods era, didn't get run over the way Sergio did, the way Phil did to an extent, the way Ernie did. These guys are fearless and have set the bar very high because they saw what Tiger was able to accomplish at a young age, win the Masters at 21, and that's where their sights are set. So I think McIlroy's probably the best young talent in the world right now. He has a magnificent swing, limber, I think great belief in himself. I think what he did this year to me spoke volumes about his character. The collapse at the Masters with a 4-stroke lead going to Sunday, shoots 80, was severe. I think a lesser person would not have recovered from that. Years to essentially recover, if at all. McIlroy got up the very next major and didn't just win; he won in a at the U.S. Open. So that, to me, spoke volumes about McIlroy. He has big game, can hit it long ways, bring a golf course to its knees, and I think he wants it too. I think he understands what he may be capable of doing if he focuses, if he takes care of his body, if he does the right things, and I think he will do that. So I think in a group of very good young players, I think he's probably the standout right now.
Rich, final question for you. Coverage begins tonight, 9 o'clock p.m. on the Golf Channel. The President's Cup gets started. How do you think this one plays out, and which one player on the two squads, the one player that makes the biggest impact on who wins this thing?
Biggest impact, I will say Jason Day from Australia, and I'll go with the internationals close. To beat the United States and win the President's Cup for just the second time. I think it's going to be a thriller. And if you're wondering, because I know people always do, they'll tune in, they'll see something from Australia, and they'll say, what time is it over there? They're 16 hours ahead.
Wow.
So add 4 and then flip it from PM to AM or vice versa. So when you tune in at 9 PM this evening, it will be 1 in the afternoon in Australia. How's that?
Well, there you go. So we get primetime coverage.
There you go. Yeah, primetime throughout the week, re-airs on NBC on the weekend. But if you like it live, and a lot of people do, we will have it for you start to finish all 4 days. And then if you miss some, NBC has tape coverage on the weekends.
He is the Golf Channel's award-winning play-by-play host, essayist, anchor reporter with Golf Central, Rich Lerner. Rich, we really appreciate your time. I know you're very busy getting ready for everything to go. Enjoy it this week. Thanks so much for joining us for a few minutes.
Enjoyed it, guys. Thanks for having me.